So the tips I give you every week are all well and good, but I'm going to give you the scoop on how law school really is. Who dates who, how much alcohol is flowing. Stay tuned. I know you guys are used to me coming every week and talking about pre-law stuff, basically how to get into law school, what happens when you get in law school, how to get a job after law school, and that's all well and good. But this week I'm going to talk to you about the juicy details of what really happens in law school, because you're going through the most stressful period of time and just about anything goes. So stay tuned. These are things that only if you went to law school you would know about. Okay, so it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? That's how law school treats you. I mean, coming from undergrad where they did have parties with alcohol, granted, probably most of the people were too young to be drinking alcohol in undergrad. In law schools, assume that you're over 21, and just about every event they have has some kind of alcohol. And I'm just like, this is how lawyers become alcoholics. It starts in law school, people. Now, granted, I didn't drink as much during law school. I probably drank more during undergrad. We won't go there. But at every event, free alcohol. This is not just like, okay, put your money up. They would get like these events if you saw my other video about like join social organizations there, at just about every event, they're serving alcohol, like beer, wine, some kind of thing. And it's just like, yeah, everybody does it. And then you always hear about the jokes when people get older, like they said a lot of lawyers are alcoholics. It probably is correlated to, it started in law school, and then when you get out of law school and you're a lawyer in this stressful environment, you have your vices and you end up drinking. So that's something people don't talk about. But there's gonna be a lot of alcohol flowing. If you're one of those people that, don't like drinking, be prepared. We say, no thank you, a lot. Okay, here's another secret. So when you're in law school, I tried to be cute, right? And had my little bag. I don't know if you know those tote bags. It was like I think it was like a Coach bag. It was like a Coach tote bag, and I'm carrying my laptop and I'm putting my textbooks in it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I got other classes today. Oh yeah, I have to study for other classes as well. I can't fit all these books in this cute tote, right? You don't realize how many people actually have those rolly bags, those rolly book bags. And actually, so I joked on people in high school who had those little rolly bags. That was like the beginning of the rolly bags coming to like be popular. They weren't even popular then. But in law school, just about everyone has those rolly bags, because your back will hurt so bad if you're carrying around all these textbooks for your classes for the day, or for you just bringing other textbooks from other days, so you're studying while you're at the library. It probably will behoove you to actually have a rolly bag. And I know it's not cute, but when you get to court, you'll see a lot of lawyers have these rolly bags too, because they have to bring a lot of evidence with them, and they're not carrying it in their hands at risk it flying everywhere. So yeah, you can look cute otherwise, but you're not going to look cute with the rolly bag. But it's a necessity. It's not for fashion. Sorry, people. Okay, here's another secret. Well, I don't know if this is necessarily a secret, because you can probably look it up. But did you know that most lawyers are not going to be rich? So if you're trying to go to law school to be rich, it's probably back out. Beep, 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 reverse. You're probably not going to be rich. The average, I think, law school debt is $145,000. And if you watch my other video about how much lawyers really make, do the math. I mean, you're definitely going to want to have more than one stream of income. Don't go in it with it like, okay, it's not like doctors. Like a lot of doctors, they have a lot of medical debt. I mean, student loan debt from going to medical school, but then like their incoming, you don't see that many unemployed doctors, first of all. And then their incoming level of pay is way higher than lawyers. So here's the secret. Don't go to law school because you think you're going to be rich, okay? It's not going to happen. Okay, so remember I told you that law school is probably the most stressful schooling you'll go through to date. So when you get stressed out, and you have a whole bunch of other people that are stressed out that are about the same age, what happens? Dating. And I use that term loosely, to be honest. But you like, I didn't know such and such was dating such and such. Like, I would never think of these two people put together, but it's funny what law school stresses and even studying for the bar exam will do. You're like, oh, such and such is, and then some of them end up getting married, and I'm like, I would have never put those two people together, like, at all. But law school will do that to people who will put together the odd couple. That's how I would like to say it. Okay, this is kind of a piggyback on the other secret I just talked about. So if you're a 1L or you're going to be a 1L, at least once a month during your first year, you're going to want to quit. It's real. It gets real quick. You're going to be so much reading. Like, honestly, the amount of reading you're doing your first year of law school is probably equivalent to how much reading you've done in your whole life. Even if you were an avid reader like I was, like, the amount of reading is crazy. So you're going to want to quit at least once a month. But you're not going to quit. Well, some people did quit. You know how they say that, like, when you start orientation at colleges sometimes, like, look to your left, look to your right. One of these people is not going to be here when you graduate. That's true in law school ×5 because it's stressful and it's not for everybody. So it's okay that you're going to want to feel like you're going to quit. But that's going to lead me to my next tip about how you can kind of power through. Okay, so this is how you're going to want to quit, and you're going to get through it if you decide you want to get through it. But I would say to develop a routine about how you approach things so that it's more manageable, down to like how you even keep in touch with your loved ones. So I know my best friend since second grade jokes that, like, I basically put her on the back burner during law school. And it wasn't better. It probably was a back burner because I made law school priority, but you also have to make your family members a priority as well. So, of course, you're going to probably have to decline a lot of invitations because you're going to be studying. But what I used to do is, like, make it a business with my grandmother. I would call her once a week on a Sunday. I'm like, this is the time that I had to talk to her. And I made that time available. And I kind of carried even after I finished law school, like, okay, no matter how busy I am, I need to make sure I keep in touch with loved ones. And they'll understand, like, my best friend, like, oh, I have my best friend back because I graduated law school. But I still kept in touch with her. I just couldn't do everything that I would normally do if I wasn't in this intense schooling. So I would say develop a routine. And I would also say the routine should probably consider some therapy or some kind of... Now, I didn't have therapy, but I feel like it would have been helpful to have somebody to talk to as I went through that experience. And I'm an advocate for people having mental health treatment anyway, just because everybody could use some. So if you can factor that into your schedule, some days you have classes, you have studying, like you might have work, but figure out how to make a schedule for yourself. And I think it will help you kind of adjust to the very difficult and different kind of life you're going to be having during law school. Okay, I'm giving you some good stuff this week, some secrets. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell so that you can see future content from us, and hit that like button so that you can see future content as well. I hope you're enjoying what I'm giving to you this week. It's a little different from my normal tutorials, so let's keep going. Okay, so here's another secret. Some of you guys are going to get student loans, financial aid, and they're going to give you a big, lump sum of money. And they're going to say, this is supposed to last you for the whole school year. Do what you need to do with it. School year, I would not say school year because school year is 9 months. I would say make sure that money lasts you for 12 months. For two main reasons. One, if it lasts you for 12 months, then essentially you're taking out less because you've made it last for longer than what they have budgeted for it to last you for. So that's one thing. You save some money. Number two, it puts you in a position to not figure out how you're going to pay through the summer, or if financial aid is not reliable and they don't give you the money right away, you don't want to be SOL. And I don't mean statute of limitations, okay? You want to make sure that you have enough money to get you through the next school year or start the next school year as well, in case it's basically building in a cushion for yourself. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're trying to budget out. And so that may mean you can't get that apartment that you like, because on a 12-month budget, you may not be able to afford it. But that's the reality of it, and just kind of work from there. So they don't tell you that they just give you the money and say, let it work for 9 months. Tell them, I told you it should last for 12 months, and see, you'll thank me later. Just put it that way. Okay, this is another thing about money. So I would say go into law school understanding that you may have to take out student loans, financial aid, but also go with an intention of doing your best so that you can qualify to be a teaching assistant, a TA, or a research assistant. Both of these are paid positions, and it's kind of like a little play money for you while you're in law school, because to be honest, you're going to be broke while you're in law school. Let's just be clear. You're going to be broke unless you are, you have a spouse that's supporting you. If you're the traditional student who basically is relying on student loans to get through law school and no one else is supporting you, you're going to be broke. So you want to do those kind of extra positions that they're jobs, but it still allows you to do your law school work. So I was a teaching assistant, and it was a paid position, and they let me do up to 20 hours a week, and I would help the professors. I was a TA for contracts, and I was a TA for the legal research and writing. So basically, I was able to get some money that I could use that I wouldn't have to dip into my financial aid pot for, and I could use it for random things if I wanted to treat myself to things. It's not a whole lot of money, but some people didn't have that at all. So I would say find those positions, and research assistants would be kind of researching things like articles or fact-checking things for the professors who are usually like writing articles because they have to publish. It's like publish or perish kind of thing. So they basically are doing the grunt work for the professor who's writing usually some kind of publishing thing. So I think that either teaching assistant or research assistant would be good positions to do. I would say teaching assistant was beneficial for me personally because I took contracts in legal research and writing. And so contracts is on the bar exam. And so you take that in your first year, and then the bar exam is your third year. And you perhaps may not remember some of the things you learned in first year. Of course, you'll take a bar exam class, but if you're a teaching assistant, you actually you're being reminded of it because you're helping the professor prepare for classes, and you're basically kind of giving yourself a review of what you learned your first year. And so I would say you're getting paid for it, and it's like a review to help you be able to pass the bar exam. And I think contract was one of the subjects that I did the best on, like when I did my pre-bar testing. That was one of the subjects that I did my best on because I basically had 2 contracts classes because I went through it more than once, and not because I failed it, but because I was a teaching assistant for it. So I would say that's one of the benefits of having that and also getting paid for it. Not only can you do paid teaching assistant position and research assistant positions, but there's actually paid internships. And I feel like I didn't know that you can most of my internships in undergrad were unpaid or for credit. And so there are actually paid internship positions available. Look out for them. I know my friend actually did one with kind of like, you want to do employment law with one of those big employment agencies, and they actually paid her for it. And it was like pretty decent for, I think it was like $15 an hour, which is kind of decent at that time for a position that, it's not a full-time position, but you can actually make some money while you're doing it. So I would say kind of look for those paid positions. Don't kind of box yourself into thinking that they're only unpaid positions or for credit, because they are paid positions outside of the school realm where you can get those beneficial experience to help you after law school. Thanks for watching this week. I hope you enjoyed the little secrets that I gave you. And back to next week, we're going to talk about something even better. So stay tuned.